So I am doing 2 videos this week for good reason. Because late last week, in fact, on Free Comic Book Day of all days, legendary comic artist George Perez passed away. And everybody knew that this was going to happen. And I think everybody was very prepared. And I'm glad that he's at peace. And I'm glad that he's not hurting anymore. But it really feels like a loss, even more so with, guys like Wrightson and him and Neil Adams just a few days ago. Of course, Neil was 80. And Darwin Cook so young. Some of these people had... It's crazy to lament actors who are in their 80s and 90s passing away. But comic artists, even in their 60s, they could continue producing fantastic work, literally right up to the day they pass away. But it's not the loss of work that makes George Perez passing feel so much like a loss. It's and not even the fact that he contributed so much to so much of this stuff that's being adapted into movies and TV now. And really seminal moments that made the 80s and 90s in comics and earlier so great. But it's odd to actually encounter somebody that everyone talks about being just legendarily kind and them really living up to it, but beyond that. I met him in 2011, and I was in a Green Lantern costume, and I brought a copy of Crisis #1 up to him to sign, and he was just jacked about the fact that I was in a Green Lantern costume, and there were a pile of people in costume behind me, and he was like, "This is great, this is amazing, can I take he wanted to take a picture with me and have somebody take a picture, and he was truly thrilled in this way where he wasn't just saying this to butter fans up or just to be nice to somebody whose Green Lantern costume at the time was far from complete. He was genuinely thrilled, and he genuinely liked people and would talk with people for so long at his tables at cons. And he was so gentle and so nice to people in a way that you could really radiate. He did radiate a kind of kindness, almost in a beatific way. He was really nice. And that's the greatest thing that somebody could say of you after you're gone, is that he was genuinely a good person from anything that I think anyone who encountered him could say. And it was really heartwarming to see that he, after he decided to stop treatment, that there were weeks of pictures with him and friends and people in the industry that he was close to, that he got the opportunity that so many people don't, to really say a lot of goodbyes, but also for everybody in the comics industry and anybody that ever met him at a con or anybody that knew him professionally, to really tell him how much he meant. And that's beautiful. And so I can't even say that he was my favorite artist, but he was really one of my favorite people to ever see at Comic-Cons. And that's sad. I know that he'd retired from cons, but it's truly sad for that to be real, that he's not going to be at anything like that again. And there's not going to be another one of him. That's for sure. So, I don't know what else can be said. You'll be missed. Thank you, George, for everything.